Hey, what is up, guys? This is JimmyDivine, back with episode 14 of Mortal Shell. And, off camera, I've had a couple hiccups getting, back home. And, I tried filming it, but it's no point in posting the episode. So, we're gonna pick up and do our last bit of farming. We have all of the Mortal Shells. We have all of the, weapons. We have a lot of upgrades on our weapons, and we have one more upgrade to do on our character. On our shell, the Hero's Vassal. So, we're just going to be farming glimpses this episode and farming tar, because last episode we lost our tar for the first time. It was around 8,000, so there's one glimpse. So, we're going to be seeing how this goes. Thank you guys for 3,000 subscribers. It's amazing that we've been growing so fast, and I'm so proud of this channel. I'm so proud of the community that we've been able to build and the positivity that's been spread so far. So thank you guys, and if you guys would like to see anything else in the future, leave a comment, smash that like button if you enjoy, and subscribe if you haven't already, please. We're growing faster and faster and faster. It's actually unbelievable. So, we're going to be doing some simple farming this episode after 4 or 5 boss fights in a row, pretty much. And we're going to be just doing some simple farming this episode, I think. I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. And we're going to be picking up stuff like that. So roasted rats, yes. Well caps, yes. Glimpses, yes. Tar, yes. All of these things we need more of in order to continue the series. So, as you know, I like to play things conservatively. I don't just like to move on for the sake of moving on. Even though it'd be fun to do that right now. For the sake of the series, we should really and truly just farm what we can as fast as we can in between boss fights, rather than just going straight into it. Because I don't have any healing items left from last episode.
Sip this and...
But we've only got to get 15 glimpses, 2,500 tar. Now, the glimpses is actually going to come just as fast as the tar at this rate. Because, that's just how it's been going lately. Ever since we've done these initial upgrades. Like I said, the first 3 or 4 episodes that we did was nothing but trying to speed up how fast we get glimpses. That was all we spent our time on. And I know it was a bit boring to watch the first 1 to 4 episodes, but it was necessary in order to get us this far in the series, folks. Because now, it used to take 4 or 5 hits to kill these guys, maybe even 6. Now it's only 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits at most. Some of them are 1 hits, others are 2 hits. Oh, I couldn't harden at the wrong time. I mean, I couldn't harden at the right time. So, I'm gonna get this, And the reason why I'm just going back and forth to the Sester Janessa and I'm not going far from her is because I can't go far because I'd have to heal if I was taking a long journey, and as you can see, I've only got the 1 welt cap, and I would need tar to buy, and the roasted rat, and I'd have to buy other healing items eventually with more tar. So we're going to need quite a bit of tar here. And we're going to need the 15 glimpses. And we're going to need to pick up stuff like that, the roasted rat. So I've done a lot of work in soundproofing my room in the past 2 episodes. I got blankets on every wall. I got the whole floor covered in carpets and mini rugs and all this kind of stuff that was softened. I got pillows on the walls. I got soundproofing all next to the microphone. I got foam sheets everywhere. Real soundproofing, fake soundproofing, you name it. I got it all. I've been, until I get my new microphone, I've been doing what I can with this worse microphone to make the audio quality better, because I'm fully aware that I posted some videos that just have terrible audio quality, folks, and I'm sorry for that. But I wanted you to see the visuals just so you know what I was doing, whether you could understand what I was saying or not. I know in hindsight that's not the best thing to do, but I just want to show you how the gameplay is going at the end of the day. And we will be getting a brand new microphone at least by the end of November. It shouldn't take too long, but it'll be right now I use a what's called a gaming microphone, air quote. A gaming microphone doesn't mean anything. It just means that they're selling it to kids, as far as I'm concerned. What's actually coming now is a professional microphone that's studio quality. So we're going to be severely upgrading our audio quality here, from the video file format to the recording of my voice itself. It'll all be lossless audio. 24-bit or 96 kilohertz and 32-bit 96 kilohertz will be what the two formats will be. Which is, for those of you who don't know audio, that basically means that the audio is going to be 3 times as better than what it is now, especially for the voiceover. Right now, it's going to sound a bit robotic-y. It's going to pick up certain sounds. But when I get this new microphone, I just can't wait to fully put on display the high quality videos that I want to make. And then as soon as I get this new microphone, by the way, we will be doing Black Myth Wukong. That's the next series we're going to be doing, folks. Black Myth Wukong. It's nominated for Game of the Year. I casted my vote for it. Game of the Year. And if you haven't cast your vote for Game of the Year, look at the nominees on the website. I think it's GameAwards.com or TheGameAwards.com. And I would suggest if you haven't played Black Myth Wukong, looking into it and just voting for it anyways, because you name a game that's better than that once you've seen it. I mean, it's about it's a Souls-like game, but it's not as dark as other Souls-like games. It's got a lot more sunlight, I guess you could say. And that's why I can't wait to show it off. Because it'll be one of my first videos that's actually got some brightness to it. So remind you, if they don't drop glimpses, that's fine, because we had 0 tar. So we're getting both here. We're getting tar, we're getting glimpses, we're getting welt caps, we're getting roasted rat. We're getting whatever we can pick up. We have completely run dry out of items. So this is going to be an episode of restocking. I'm probably going to call it that. Restocking something. I don't know. Not yet, at least. So we're going to...
Don't overindulge.
Don't overindulge indeed. But I'll just take a sip. Okay, hope you guys are doing well. And I hope this audio quality is coming out good. I know this episode is still dark, but at least it's brighter than last episode, right? Last episode I couldn't even see. And I've turned up the brightness for you guys just for the video's sake. And it doesn't actually get a lot brighter than this. My gamma's up, my brightness is up, everything's up. I don't know what to say. This game is just that dark. But when you can see it, what you can make out is relatively good textures. And when they do use the ray like my other episode, I think it was episode 12 or 11, when we went to the Eternal Narthex, the ray tracing just really showed off in that Black Obsidian Castle. I mean, obviously there's other games with better ray tracing nowadays, but this came out in 2020, which, for those of you who don't know, was like the birth of ray tracing. Around that time, at least. Maybe 2 years after. And, and it's an indie game, so it didn't have very big budget as well. And I bought this game for $15. It's regular $30 though, so I bought it half off. However, it will be half off again soon, I hear. around December 19th, I think. Yeah, December 19th or December 29th. I know it ends in a 9. And I know it's got a double-digit number in December on Steam Store. And for those of you who don't know, that's the winter sale. That will be the biggest sale of the year on Steam. I've never seen a game that wasn't on sale during the past 2 winter sales. Sure, a lot of them go up to 90% off, 80% off, 75% off. And then even if it's a brand new game that came out yesterday, they're still going to put it 5% off, 10% off, 15% off, just for the sake of it. Because
Yes.
I think that's the policy. There's not a single game that I've ever seen that ever didn't get a little bit of a cut down. Like, yeah, I'm telling you, the newest of the newest games are gonna get even a little bit of a discount. But you know, every little bit helps. I'm not sure if games like the really big ones, like really big AAAs, that will necessarily happen. Like your Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024s and stuff like that. Your Civilization 7s, maybe not. But I think the other games, they're definitely gonna go on sale. Up to 90% off. And if they're newer, more popular. The more popular they are, the less it's gonna go on sale, obviously. But hey, even 5% off. Why buy it full price when you can just wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks and buy it 5% off? I mean, it sounds stupid to me. I mean, it sounds stupid to some people, but it's I tend to buy most of my games on Steam on sale, and that's how I can justify making so. I mean, it's how I can justify having so many games, because oh, we just got pretty much 2 glimpses in a row. It's how I can justify having so many games, because I don't actually pay that much for all of them. Like, if you go on a website like SteamDB, or SteamDB charts, or DB charts, whatever it's called, and you put in your Steam ID, it'll tell you what the full price of each of your games are, all added up. In other words, the worth of your game catalog and your Steam account. And you can also figure out how much you got so that's how much it would have been if you paid full price for every game. But you can also figure out, you know, if you got certain ones on sale, or if not all of them on sale in some cases. Depends how thrifty you are. I'd say about 75% of my games I bought on sale, and my DLC. So I think it's like I don't know. I don't know the exact number, but it's a couple thousand for the games, obviously, and then what it would be if it was full price. But I only, when they calculated what I paid in discounts, I only paid like almost like 60% of that. So a bit more than half is what I actually paid than what it's worth. So I got like 40% off of my entire catalog, is what I'm trying to say, just by waiting for Steam sales and summer sales and winter sales, like what I'm talking about now, and buying games 75% off, 80% off, and then you can buy like 10 of them at a time, and you don't have to play them all at once. I'd buy 10 games normally what I do is, guys, is that I'll buy a dozen games, let's say. I'll save up my money the whole year, buy a dozen games during a big winter sale where every single game on the store is on sale. Fill in whatever holes I had in my catalog of games I wanted to play. Buy like a dozen of them at a time for the price of 3 games. I mean, you know how good that is. If you could buy 12 games for the price of 3, that's amazing. So, do that, and then, so if I do that at the end of 2024, for 2025, I've got a whole dozen games that I can play that year, and I could progressively buy 1 or 2 here as 2025 moves on. It would allow me to, like, that's a dozen games at the end of the year. That would be one per month for 2025. And then if I played faster than that, I can buy as I go. But the point is that that's how I do it most years. Is that I get next year's games at the end of the year sale the year before. I don't know if you guys do it that way as well or do it similarly. And then if I pick up any games in between, I normally go for the weekend sales, because every weekend Steam has a different line of games on sale. And they normally rotate, so if I miss it, I'll just wait a couple months and the same game will be on sale again. So, I don't know if you guys do the exact same thing, where you just buy everything when it goes on sale on Steam, or if you use it, but that's exactly how I do it. I do not buy, only certain games do I buy at full price, and that's most of the time if I pre-ordered it. And I don't pre-order a lot unless I knew, or that, one, I knew it was going to be semi-good, or two, I knew that I was going to play it whether it was good or not, put it that way. Like, there's certain games I pre-ordered that I probably shouldn't have pre-ordered, but I knew I was going to play it anyways, so I did end up playing it, and the pre-order was worth it. It all depends, and like, for example, SteamDB is another. I'm not paid by any of these people. I'm not paid by anybody on my channel. I'm just saying that if you go to SteamDB and put your Steam ID in, you can not only figure out the worth of what you paid in your catalog, and then what you paid in the difference in sale prices, and then what you paid with DLC added in. You can also figure out many different things about the account, such as I forgot what I was gonna say, but no, you can find out price per hour. So you can find out how many, it counts how many hours you've got in every game, adds them up, divides them by the games of only that you played, not that you've owned, and it will tell, or no, all that you've owned. Scratch that, it's all that you've owned. So, let's say you own 30 games. Let's say you've got 3,000 hours. So, it's gonna do 3,000 divided by 30, and it's gonna tell you the dollars or cents per hour that you've made it equivalent to. So let's say you went in an arcade, for example, and you paid them $1 for 5 minutes, and you paid them 4 quarters, or say it was a quarter try, and each try was around 15 to 20 seconds, right, on the arcade machine, the pinball machine, and you put in 4 quarters in a minute, let's say. So let's say $1 a minute in an arcade. Well, what if you could get that down to 50 cents an hour instead of $1 a minute? You only are paying 50 cents an hour. That's what this is calculating for you. It's calculating how many hours or how many minutes you put into the game versus what you paid. And you can see whether you're paying arcade prices at $1 a minute or whether you're paying real prices at 50 cents an hour. So I think mine is like, it's between, I've seen it as, it fluctuates all the time because when you buy a new game, the number changes. Or when you start playing a new game, the number changes. But I've seen it as low as 32 cents an hour. And I've seen it as high as 60 cents an hour. But it fluctuates, it's normally around 50. Or below that even. And right now I think it's like 45. So about 45 cents an hour across my account, even though there's thousands of dollars in it. Well, how's that? It's because the more hours you put in your game, you're technically, you're literally logging how much of your money's worth you're getting. Because as long as you don't do nothing stupid and get banned from Steam or nothing like that, you're gonna keep those games. You're always gonna play them. And for those of you who are worried about that, by the way, getting banned from the Epic Games Store, banned from Steam, just go to GOG. Buy your games from GOG. They allow you to not only, like, you can't, even if they banned you from GOG, you will still be able to keep the game, unlike Steam and Epic Games Store, first of all. And the reason why is because it's not kept in a GOG account. You can download it to any part of your PC. You can download it to a flash drive, for God's sake, and just take it to another person's PC and give it to them for free. Now, but people can technically do that because the file itself is not locked to an account. It's the file itself is it can be moved, it can be edited even manually right there on your PC. GOG is a completely different system. It's like owning your media, every file of it, and it's the same as owning any other document on your PC, except you can actually go through the folders. Like, you'd say, what do you mean? I can go in my Steam folders now. Well, no. I mean, you can go in every little bit of code in a GOG version, and you own that. Like, it's yours. Now, mind you, I don't think GOG has every game, but GOG, what they do have is better prices than Steam as well. You're like, wow, so better prices and I get to own it? How does that work? Well, I don't actually know. This is just what I know from my research. And for all I know, it might not be available for forever, just like everything else in this world. I saw something else the other day that caught my attention. And it said that there was a US senator that was going after Steam for Pepe the Frog, saying that there was too many Pepe the Frogs on Steam. Listen, I don't have any Pepe the Frogs in my account, and I don't really care about it. But why do we have to censor a video game platform for posting a frog, an animated frog, and calling it hate speech? I just don't get it. This is so ridiculous. And as a YouTuber, I'll always use my platform to speak out against this. It's just atrociousness, to be honest. It's like, don't you have better things to do than pick on Steam? Like, there are literally wars being fought all around the world, and these guys choose to pick on Steam.
Yes.
Anyways, that's enough of that. I'm just saying, if something were to happen to Steam because of any government picking on Steam, or picking on a video game industry, I mean, I hope there's going to be a backlash, folks, because we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen, for our sake. For the people's sake. Now, I know I know every country is different, and even some countries have laws about video game usage per day, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about we can't let the platform itself go. I mean, I mean, think about it. What if you're an investor in Steam, and you like, for me, my account's gonna be 10 years old next year. So, what happens when you have these 10-year-old, 15-year-old accounts, and the government tries screwing with it, and you've got 15 years worth of data on this account that it can't exactly be replaced any way, shape, or form. So if the government were to mess with it, you get what I'm saying, right? Like, that's 15 years gone. That's all kinds of money gone. That's all kinds of resources gone. And it's not helping anything. So I'm sorry if you think I'm being a bit political here, but it's just video games, folks. It shouldn't be political. That's my point. It shouldn't be in the news. It shouldn't be in a senator's mouth. It shouldn't be, unless it was really breaking the law, but it's not breaking the law. It's talking about Pepe the Frog. That's what I'm trying to say here. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. JimmyDivine for president. I will make Steam great again. I'm joking. I don't ever want to be president. Too dangerous of a job. Anyways, we are up to 10 glimpses, folks. So this is what I was before I started So actually, I ended last episode on 10 glimpses. But I screwed up in between episodes. I'm gonna let you in on that little secret. So, I did the mask thing again, for those of you who know what that means. And, yeah, I had less glimpses, so... We've made it back now.
Yes.
We're gonna need 5 more.
Slowly now. Very well.
We're gonna need 5 more. We got 4 well caps. We're gonna need also 2,500 tar, so we haven't even got that yet. So we still do have to keep getting tar. And then we'll use any tar we get after that to buy more roasted rats and stuff like that. That we have healing items. Sorry if I went off on a tangent just now. It just really gets on my nerves when the government starts picking their nose and stuff that actually helps people's lives. Versus a war, let's say, that is hurting people and killing people. I'm of the belief that I don't really care what party you're a part of, no matter what country you're in. I just believe that we should have smaller governments rather than bigger ones, if you know what I mean. Not that they shouldn't be there. We definitely need them. We need laws, we need all that. But I believe that sometimes they get too big. Sometimes they get too forceful. Sometimes they get too in your face. Sometimes they get too bloated. Sometimes they spend too much money. So I'm just of the belief that governments should be smaller than they are now. That's all. I don't know what party that would align me with, because to be honest, they changed their views too much. And I think they only believe what their benefactors tell them to believe, no matter what party they're in, no matter what country they're in. So I tend to think, personally, that the less government we have, the smaller it is, only do the essential stuff, like, you know, I don't know, our borders, figure out our federal institutions, our clinics, our roads, our water sources, our clean air, stuff like that. You know, stuff that we need to live, stuff that we need to get by as any country on this planet. If they start, when they get too big and bloated, they always do the same thing. They ruin their country. They get their hands in every piece of the pie. Government and country can no longer be separated. It's one and the same. When it should be for, well, I don't know. It should be for the people and by the people. Which many countries claim that. I'm not pointing fingers here. America's just as bad as any of these countries, if not the worst. But, to be honest, all governments, if you're around the world and you're thinking to yourself, wow, what did my government just do? What did my government just do? What did my government just do? Just remember, there's not a single government on this planet that's perfect. There's not a single one that's perfect. Not a one. So, if you were thinking that the US government, or the UK government, or the Canadian government, or any of these governments were just the top of society, and that's what you wanted for your country, let's say, I'd say take a better look at that. Take a wider look at, sure, there's lots of great things about the governments in those countries that I just mentioned, that I pointed a bit of a finger at, but they're also not perfect, is my point. They're also not perfect. None of those governments I mentioned are perfect, but none of those governments are necessarily disrespected neither. So it's a happy medium, isn't it? That it's a perfect happy medium that certain governments have to create an environment where not only whether it's for the people, whether it's from the people, whether it's from other people who just know each other in the government, I don't really care. As long as it serves a greater purpose, right? I don't care if you're authoritarian. That honestly doesn't matter to me. Some authoritarian governments can be good if they use it for the right things. I don't care if you're democratic. Yeah, I mean, Democrats come with just as much problems as authoritarians, if you ask me. And that's why I really don't care. And, no government system is perfect. I don't care if you're a monarchy and you got kings and queens. That doesn't matter to me neither. It doesn't really matter to me. Or if you're a republic. I don't really care what your form of government is. I just believe it should be smaller in every way.
Yes. Taste the truth.
And that goes for... I'm not saying that as just for my country or this country or that country. I'm saying that for every country. Unilaterally. All governments should be smaller. Unless they're a country... The only exception... And here's why I say this. Is that if they're a smaller country that needs a lot of help... And government might be their only form of getting money sometimes... then yes. I can see why jobs are jobs and that they need that. But there's not many other reasons than that I would say we need a bigger government in these countries. Not unless it was too small in the first place. Or too underdeveloped in the first place. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean to get bigger if it's underdeveloped. It just needs to be developed more. I hope what I'm saying is not too controversial. I'm just saying that, don't you agree that, yes, we need help from the government, because that's what it's for, but we don't need them to help us with every little thing? Because then, if that were the case, I mean, what happens if we ever wanted to go a different route where we wouldn't have them helping us? Do you see where the problem lies there? Like, once you started it, you kind of opened Pandora's box. You can't close it. So I'm gonna end my little rant right there. Just take a minute to think about it, I guess. You know, I don't care if you're red, blue, yellow, purple, whatever party you align with, green. It doesn't matter. To be honest, I believe in them all. I believe in all of them in a certain way. It's just that I don't subscribe to any one part. The reason is that I think that any human can be blessed with a good idea at any point in time. Even if they said lots of stupid things before. That doesn't mean that there can't be that one time where they say something a little bit smart. Which is why, to subscribe to one party and just say everybody else is wrong, you're never gonna get to enlightenment that way. Never. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to move on. You have to be willing to look forward in life. And that is the path to enlightenment, not subscribing to one ideology necessarily, depending on what that ideology is. Unless that ideology is the Enlightenment ideology of perfection, I would say don't grab onto any single ideology, especially in politics. I mean, have your convictions in life, but there's a difference. My convictions is that I believe in strong borders and less government. And that government should only be involved in the essentials. You don't agree with me? You know, I'm sorry I brought it up. I don't mean to start an argument about it. I'm just saying that it's a beast, isn't it? It's a beast that created itself. We created it. And we're in charge of it. So, if it gets out of control, it's our fault. And if they start to... And if something were to happen where it was so too big that we even started to lose our livelihoods under this swarm of system, whatever it may be, then I could see how, you know, you have no one to blame but yourself at that point, and your ancestors who put you there. Because you can't see it, you can't see it. I'm not gonna spell it out for you guys. I'm not gonna spell it out, because I don't know the policies of that. But I will say this. Just think for yourself. Think for yourself. Instead of reading the news article and saying this is the truth, read a second one, read a third one, read a fourth one, read a fifth one, read a sixth one, read a seventh one, then read 10 ones that have nothing to do with it, come back to those ones you read before. And then tell me what you think. That's what I have to say about that. Man, I think people need to be doing more reading in general. And I don't mean to talk down to people, but if you read, shout out to you. You read even a little bit. Even if you just read stuff on your Kindle or on your phone or computer, where if you just read, I don't care how you read, as long as you read every day. There's so many people who don't even try. They're in my family even, and I just feel so bad for them. Because if you read more, you could understand so much more about what this world was and is. And I'm not going to spell that out for you either. I would just say read. So we're up to 12 glimpses. We only need 3 more. But it is taking a while. If it feels like I've been going on a political rant this episode, I kind of was, but it wasn't for the sake of what you think. It was more so just to fill in the time this episode. Because we're doing boring farming, and I'm filming it all, I just wasn't sure what to talk about, so I talked about the first thing on my mind. I'm sorry. I'll try not to do that again. I'm sorry. Unless you guys want to hear stuff like that from me. If you do, I guess let me know in the comments, but I don't really feel comfortable doing that, to be honest. I just did that because that was the first thing on my mind, and I apologize if I offended any of you.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at a lot of video games, the video games run themselves. It's chaotic, but it runs itself. Imagine if the world could do something like that. Was my overall point, and that's where I'll end it. And no, I'm not an anarchist. I don't believe in that. In fact, I'm anti-anarchist. I don't like that. Big difference, folks. Big difference between wanting less government and being an anarchist. There's a total difference. I've met anarchists before. They're not good people. So we did beat the stronger version of that Grisha last episode. We beat the enslaved Grisha.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are probably never going to get a video of me talking about politics again after this. I'm going to admit, I don't want to do that again. But, it's too risky. But I did that simply because it was on my mind, and I apologize. I was just trying to make a point, but I think I don't think I went too far. I think I just talked about it too much. So, I'm sorry if I went a bit too off the rails there. But we got 14 glimpses. We only need one more. One. And then we'll have a fully maxed out character. I don't expect you guys to watch the entirety of this episode, actually, because it's just farming, but we're just doing a loop back and forth. But who knows, maybe you liked what I had to say. I don't know. If you did, smack that like button, comment, subscribe.
Sip this.
We're almost there. And I'm sorry that of all the things I used to fill in the filler time, I picked politics. I'm very sorry. Even though I didn't name any parties or countries like that in particular, I'm just sorry that I even started going down that road. I don't want this channel to have anything to do with that, and I just stated what my own belief was as a person, because I felt like I needed to for some reason, but looking back on it, I probably didn't. And some of you may be wondering, am I... Okay, there's our last glimpse. So we got our last glimpse. And we're going to be... Some of you may be wondering, am I religious? The answer is yes. I believe in God. But I believe in God not in the way that you think. I see God not as a person, but as a state of being, I guess you could say. It's hard to describe in the English language, but nirvana is the best word to put it. Alright.
Sip this and you'll...
The recollection of knowledge. So, hard in the air to create a devastating area. Okay, so this is our last upgrade, folks. Let's do it. Fill out our tree.
I watched as something swam beneath her belly. Her flesh sloughed from the bone and poured forth like mud, drowning the worshippers in a slurry of blood and earth. Birth and death were indistinguishable. I should leave, find safety. But I dragged myself closer as the prayers of the devout filled my ears. I couldn't lift my sword. I couldn't kill mother and child.
All right.
Perhaps it's time to make some new memories? Perhaps it's time to make some...
Alright, so now we have unlocked the Glimpse store. And as you can see there, we can even buy car. We can buy glimpses of affection, buy an untarnished mask. We can buy this thing. That's good. Nice. So any glimpses we get in the future with Harros the Vassal, we can spend on in the Glimpse store. So that's been it for this episode, guys. We did upgrade ourselves to the next episode. Next episode, we'll be getting a little bit more tar, and then we'll be buying some more healing items. We don't have too much now, but we have a little bit. and then we'll be taking on another formal boss in some way. So, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smack that like button, subscribe, and this has been JimmyDivine, episode 14. Thank you.